Well, good morning. It is an honor to be here today to pay tribute to the heroes who have gone before us and the heroes who walk among us, our veterans. Missouri's 4th Congressional District is proud to be one of our nation's most military-intensive congressional districts and home to tens of thousands of veterans who have served their country with distinction and with honor. The countless sacrifices of our servicemen and women have given to us the freedom and the security and the way of life that it makes our country the greatest country in the world. I feel so blessed to be able to represent and serve this brave group of people in our nation's capital and on the Armed Services Committee. It is so inspiring to get to visit with the many veterans in our district and to hear the stories of their service and their sacrifice. Whether it's greeting the World War II veterans who have come to DC as part of an honor flight, or observing this World War II veteran right here sitting on the front row as he greeted all the Vietnam veterans as they came back in. They're a special group of people. Or if it's by visiting with a Korean or a Vietnam veteran at a local VFW or American Legion event, or traveling to Afghanistan to personally thank our men and women in uniform fighting today like I did in May of this year, or visiting our wounded warriors at the Walter Reed Hospital in the outskirts of DC like I've had the privilege to do. I always come away from these encounters humbled and inspired and thankful to have the privilege of serving these very, very special group of people who wear the uniform of the United States military. And today we're paying special tribute to our Vietnam vets. These heroes are a special group of patriots who served their country with courage, pride, and distinction, and paved the way for future generations to follow their acts of service and valor. Most Americans don't know that 67% of those who served in Vietnam volunteered for service. There was a draft, but most of them signed up for God and country to do their duty for the freedom and liberties we enjoy because others had been willing to serve and now was their time. They wanted to preserve those freedoms for future generations and went willingly as a cohesive unit, fighting bravely and watching each other's backs, co-patriots, fellow soldiers, family. They served with bravery and courage. One Purple Heart recipient I visited with this week told me that at a time his unit was ordered to defend the perimeter of their base camp way on the very outer edge. There had been an explosion of an ammo dump nearby, and he initially thought that it was World War III, but then found out it wasn't and that the enemy was coming, and they rushed down there, and there was a dirt berm around the perimeter there, and they all threw their bodies against that dirt berm and realized that they were almost all out of ammunition. They didn't know what they were going to do, and so his sergeant ordered him a very simple order. He pointed to him, he said, "Get ammo, run." And he ran as fast as he could, but as he ran, he heard the sounds of all of his fellow soldiers in the back clicking on their bayonets. There wasn't an order to do so. They all just did it immediately. They did it instinctively. They were willing to fight hand to hand if they had to for their country, and they were going to do it willingly. And that encouraged him. He was able to get the ammo and get back in time, and the enemy was averted. But that is courage. That's self-sacrifice. That's valor in the face of danger. These soldiers displayed acts of unselfish valor like that. Bob Wannell, the past commander of the Missouri VFW, sent me an article a while back about his hero that I wanted to share with you a little bit about. It's Carlos Hathcock. He was a Marine, but he grew up a boy from rural Arkansas, like many of us here in Missouri can relate to. But he grew up hunting to feed his family. They were very poor. But he became a marksman through doing that. And he later became one of America's top snipers with an extraordinary service record of 93 confirmed kills and many more besides that. He completed mission after dangerous mission, many times, sometimes crawling on his belly for miles through enemy territory to reach his target and getting his target, and in the process saving countless American lives as a result. He was noted for wearing a white feather in the band of his bush hat and was given the name White Feather by the Viet Cong. They put a price out for his life and sent Vietnamese snipers out with an order to find and to kill Hathclock. Knowing of the danger to their comrade and the value of his skill and his service, many of his fellow Marines in the same area began donning white feathers and wearing in their hats as well to deceive the enemy. They took it upon themselves, not being ordered to do so, but because they chose to, for the greater good, to put their own lives in danger. That's selfless valor. Yet our nation let these heroes down. They were brought back to the States with no reentry orientation or evaluation for PTSD. One vet told me how he was let off at a bus stop with only his duffel bag in hand and no thanks for his service. They were spat on, called names, and scorned. There were no ticker tape parades for these warriors, to our nation's shame. Yet, they carried on. They became leaders of the community, professors at universities like this one. They built businesses. They raised children to love and serve their country and continue to stand strong for freedom and liberty today as positive examples of service, duty, and honor in our communities. We owe them, we owe you, a debt of gratitude that our country will never be able to repay. So on this day, on behalf of the good people of the 4th District of Missouri and of a grateful nation, I'd like to say something to you, the Vietnam veterans here today. Welcome home. Thank you for your service. May God bless you, and God bless America.